I'm Seth Meyers. This is Late Night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. On the 43rd day of the shutdown, President Trump signed a bill into law last night that reopens the federal government. And he's really hoping that's the only thing that gets reopened. I think just do the one, right? During their White House meeting earlier this week, President Trump reportedly sprayed Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa with his Victory 47 fragrance, and long story short, we're at war with Syria. That's right, President Trump met with Syrian President Ahmed al-Sharaa at the White House and almost made it a full minute without insulting him.
The other one is your wife. How many wives?
Your wife.
How many wives? Less than you, dog. House Speaker Mike Johnson said yesterday there'll be a vote next week on a bill to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Wait, you mean this isn't all of them? Damn, this guy sends more emails than J. Crew. The Wall Street Journal published an article this week about FBI Director Kash Patel's use of a government jet for personal travel, including a trip to a wrestling event where his girlfriend would be singing. Wow, that is crazy. He has a girlfriend? President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump attended a foster care event today at the White House, but unfortunately there were no takers. Shame on all of us. The U.S. Mint yesterday ended production of the penny after 232 years. Well, still not the worst thing that ever happened to Lincoln. You guys agree, right? President Trump's childhood home in Queens was recently listed for sale for $2.3 million. After it was gutted and renovated, said the contractors, there was so much lead paint. The New York Times last week published a profile on 3 people who were in romantic relationships with AI chatbots. It's heartbreaking, and I know. I had a girlfriend in college who left me for Jeeves. And it's my fault. I remember one time I said, go ask someone else, and that was it. A Manhattan apartment was recently listed for $128 million. Apparently, it's got a washer-dryer. And finally, a flamingo that went missing from a wildlife sanctuary in England was recently spotted on a beach in northern France, or, hear me out, flamingos look alike. And that was a monologue, everybody. We got a great show for you tonight. She's a phenomenal actress, you know, from Homeland. Fleischman is in Trouble, and of course, the groundbreaking series, My So-Called Life. She's currently starring in The Beast in Me, streaming now on Netflix. Claire Danes is here, everybody. We're so happy she's back. And you've seen him in Masters of the Air and the Fantastic Beasts franchise. He stars in Eternity, which will be in theaters everywhere on Thanksgiving. Callum Turner is joining us for the first time. But before we get to all that, the president's top aides held an emergency meeting in the Situation Room yesterday, not because of some conflict or global crisis, but because his name is in newly released emails from Jeffrey Epstein. In fact, we have a picture of the president in the Situation Room, and here's what he's looking at on the screen. Mr. President, we got him, but him is me. Conundrum. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. For 10 years, Trump's been wildly unpopular, by all accounts the most unpopular president of all time, except for William Henry Harrison. We don't have enough polling on him because he died from a cold a month into his term. You know, it's a bummer that no one's ever tried to make a musical about him. I mean, wouldn't that be great? It would be called Harrison, and the best part is you'd be like in and out in 20 minutes, you know? My name is William Henry Anyway, the point is, Trump's always been unpopular, but he's been able to hang on to power because he has a tight grip on the Republican Party, no matter what he did or how bad things got, his loyal followers in the GOP never doubted him until now.
A new poll shows President Trump's approval rating plummeted during his second term in office. The Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research survey shows 33% of American adults approve of how Trump is managing the government. That is down 10 points from March. The decline is driven by Republicans and independents. About 2/3 of Republicans support the president, which is 13 points lower than what it was earlier this year.
That's right, Trump is losing support among Republicans. Not all, or even most of them, but enough to make a difference. Like, if you hold a dinner party for 10 people and one of your guests says, you know what, you suck, this food sucks, you're a bad friend, and I'm leaving, the other 9 people who stay aren't gonna have the best time, you know? It's gonna be a long, awkward silence until someone finally says, so, anyone see the new musical Harrison? But Republicans losing faith in Trump is a meaningful and a real development, and it's not coming out of thin air. He's done a bunch of very specific things to piss off MAGA lately, like his defense of visas for foreign workers.
President Trump's getting blowback by some of his supporters after he said America doesn't have enough highly skilled workers to fill certain jobs here. During an interview with Fox host Laura Ingraham, he defended the H-1B visa program that permits skilled workers to live and get jobs here.
If you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
Well, we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no, you
here.
don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles.
Laura, listen, you can't expect me to make America great again with only Americans. I mean, you sound insane, Laura. And I'm sorry, did the President of the United States just say we don't have talented people in America? I happen to know 4 people who would disagree. But thank you so much for the pep talk, dude. You're the president, you're supposed to talk us up, you're supposed to be a mascot for America. This is like the time Mr. Met gave Mets fans the middle finger. We did not mock that up. That is a real thing that happened. The Mets broke Mets fans, and they in turn broke Mr. Met. And you don't want to do that because he can go be a mascot for another team. I mean, Billy the Marlin is stuck with the Marlins, but a dude with a baseball for a head could represent any team. Watch. Hey, kids, look, it's Mr. Giant. Works as good, if not better, thanks to the fact that his head is giant. Point is, Mets fans, leave Mr. Met alone, or he's gonna leave you. Also, sorry, I have to go back to this part.
You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles.
Why are you on people in the unemployment line? If you didn't have a rich dad, that's where you'd be, my man. I mean, without $1 million you inherited from your father, you'd be a guy in Queens who lost his job selling vacuums door to door because you kept saying, excuse me, ma'am, are you interested in a vacuum? Much like American workers, they absolutely suck. Also, you're on American workers for not being able to build missiles like you could. You, by your own admission, don't even know what a magnet is.
If China refused to give magnets because they have a monopoly on magnets, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are.
It's true. It's true. Nobody knows what magnets are. We've had our best scientists working on it, but they haven't made any breakthroughs. I mean, that was my favorite scene in Oppenheimer when he meets with Albert Einstein and says, Albert, please, tell me what the hell a magnet is. And then Einstein says, no one knows. True story, came down to me and one other guy to play Einstein and Oppenheimer. And as to why Christopher Nolan didn't pick me, no one knows. I also kept suggesting that after that, Oppenheimer would go, Albert! He said I didn't get the tone. But sure, it's everyone else who can't learn how to build a missile in a factory. Seriously, think about how insane it is that the sitting president of the United States is saying America doesn't have talented people. He should be a cheerleader for America. And that's not me saying that. I got that from Trump.
We're cheerleaders. That's a big part of it. And we're cheerleaders for our country. You know, I'm a cheerleader for the country, but I'm a cheerleader for our country. I'm a cheerleader for this country. I'm a cheerleader for the country. I'm a cheerleader for the country. I'm a cheerleader also for the country. You have to understand, I'm a cheerleader for this country.
Great, just a tip. When you cheer, like, make it positive. No one wants to hear, give me a W, give me an E, give me an S, give me a U, give me a C, give me a K. We suck! So MAGA is mad at Trump over a variety of issues, from visas to inflation to the government shutdown. The only thing that could make this any worse is if Trump were somehow implicated in some sort of far-reaching conspiracy MAGA spent years obsessing over, maybe involving a powerful elites and a cabal of sex traffickers. And oh, damn, I'm hearing myself and I'm realizing where this is going.
Democrats in the House Oversight Committee have released new Jeffrey Epstein emails this morning, and in one of them, he claimed that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls.
That's right. Jeffrey Epstein said Trump knew about the girls. Even worse, in the same email, he said Trump has no idea how the magnets work. This new batch of emails has caused a panic in Trump world, especially with the House on the verge of forcing a vote that would compel the Justice Department to release the full Epstein files. And you can tell Trump is flustered because on the day the emails broke, he did something very rare for him. He refused to take questions from reporters.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you have questions. I think we really have a really great situation. We have a country that we love, and we have a country that's in great shape. We've never had a time like this. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
What a great day.
It's a great day.
Oh man, I've never seen anyone look so sad while saying the words, "It's a great day." He looks like a kid who asked for an Xbox for Christmas and got a jigsaw puzzle and said, wow, 1,000 pieces, yeah. Look at all that sky. It's a great day, Nana. Do you know how bad the news has to be for Trump not to take questions? That's the only part of the job he likes. He likes it so much, he'll sit there and ramble about how magnets are witchcraft. But yesterday, he was busy. He and his team were holding emergency meetings over this Epstein bombshell.
We've learned the White House has been working against the Epstein vote, reportedly meeting with Republicans like Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, which you mentioned, in the Situation Room of all places, to try to convince her and others to remove their names from this discharge petition.
Sources are telling CNN that top Trump administration officials held a meeting on this issue, not just at the White House, but in the Situation Room. Now, according to multiple sources, the meeting was said to have included the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert of Colorado. Boebert is one of the 4 Republican members of the House who has signed the petition.
Man, you're in the when you got to count on Lauren Boebert to bail you out. Lauren Boebert is so crazy that when Kash Patel listens to her talk, he looks the way he always looks. It's taken 10 years, but we're finally seeing a sizable portion of the MAGA base grow frustrated with Trump, both on policy and on the Epstein scandal. It's still not a majority, but a growing number of Republicans are losing patience with Trump after years of Trump and MAGA being attracted to each other like
Magnets.
This has been a closer look.